Okay, let's look at calculating speed and velocity algebraically. That just means by using these variables and numbers that you're given or that you know to solve algebraically for what you want. So we know the formulas. Speed is distance over time, velocity is displacement over time. And so we know the formulas. Speed is distance over time, velocity is displacement over time. So let's look at a few examples. I went for a morning jog and I ran 8 miles in 72 minutes. What was my average speed? Okay, well, we know speed is distance over time. That is easy. Speed is distance, 8 miles, over time, 72 minutes. Now, this is a little strange. That's 1/9 miles per minute. We know miles per minute. So again, the units tell you if you're right again. But maybe we'll put that in a little easier. So let's convert this. Miles per minute. We can do 60 minutes in 1 mile, or 60 minutes in 1 hour. So that multiplied by 60 is 6.66 miles per hour. Now that makes a little more sense than 1/9 miles per minute. Let's consider that for average velocity, like it also says. So I'm going to draw a home here. Home. What a great home. And here's my route. I started at the front door and went woo, 8 miles. Okay, speed is distance over time. So that's the 8 miles divided by 72 minutes. I was going about 6.6 miles per hour. Velocity is different. This is displacement. So displacement doesn't care about my distance. It cares how much I was displaced. How far am I away from the relative point? Well, I did a big loop and I'm back at home. So how far have I gone? What is my displacement? That's actually 0. I'm back exactly where I was. So my velocity here, so if there's someone standing here watching you, they close their eyes for 72 minutes and then open them, you'd be in the same spot. So to them, displacement 0, your velocity is 0 miles in 72 minutes. That is 0. Your velocity is 0 miles a minute. Same 0 miles per hour even. You're not moving technically for your velocity. Let's look at a bit of a different scenario. I took a new route along my jog this morning. I don't know how long the route was, but I do know that I run a consistent 7 mile per hour pace, and it took 30 minutes. So how long was the route? In this case, obviously I want to use speed is distance over time because displacement is 0 again. I went all the way around. So my total distance is what I'm looking for. How long was the route? Distance is what I'm looking for. I know the time. It took 30 minutes. Distance is what I'm looking for. It took me 30 minutes. And I know the speed, 7 miles per hour. Miles per hour. So since this is in miles per hour, I want to convert 30 minutes to hours. Well, I know 30 minutes is a half hour, so that's an easy conversion. Let's say 1/2 hours. So I can multiply then. This is just like math. It's a one-step equation. We should recognize this as, I'll take the units away so it looks a little easier to you. When we see 7 equals d divided by 1/2, d is being divided by 1/2, so the inverse of dividing is multiplying by 1/2. 1/2 divided by 1/2 is 1, and 7 times 1/2 is 3.5. So the distance is 3.5 miles. Now you can see that again if I multiply by 1/2 hours. Multiply by 1/2 hours. Hours divided by hours cancel out, and you are left with 1/2 of 7 miles. So again, the units tell you 1/2 of 7 is 3.5. You're left with miles. It's a distance. If this had said hours or something, you know you made a mistake. But hours divided by hours cancel, and 1/2 of 7 miles. Let's look at one more. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. I want to know if I can take a 4-mile jog with enough time to be back by 4:45, so I can shower and get ready for dinner. I know I can run 7 miles an hour. Do I have time to take the jog? Okay, this is interesting because I have a time here from 4 to 4:45. So I know my time is 45 minutes. I also know 45 minutes is 3/4 of an hour, in case I needed in hours here because I'm using miles per hour. I know the speed, 7 miles per hour. And I know the distance, 4 miles. So I have everything in the equation. So what do I use? Well, I have to consider what the question is asking. Do I have time to take the jog? So, can I make the full 4 miles in 3/4 of an hour at 7 miles per hour? So there's multiple ways you can do this since you have them all. You just have to answer the question. So let's say I wanted to use my speed and the time and see how far I can go. Okay, so speed is distance divided by time. So let's throw speed and time in there. Okay, 7 miles an hour is distance divided by 7. So again, just like last time, I can multiply by 3/4. And my distance is 5:25. So does that mean that I can finish my jog? It does, because I can go 5¼ miles. And it's only 4 miles. Well, that's not the only way I could solve it since I have all three. You just have to answer the question. I could also say, well, at 7 miles an hour, what is the time that I need to go 4 miles? Okay, in this case, I'm going to have to multiply by t to get it out. And then I'll have 7t = 4. And then I got to divide by 7, the inverse of multiplying by 7 here. Is 4/7 of an hour. That is a little over a half hour, which is less than 3/4 of an hour. So we do have time. That is less than 45 minutes. And again, since we have all three, you can look at it from whichever way as long as you're answering the question. So which one haven't we done yet? Okay, we haven't done speed yet, so let's look at what speed do I need to go in order to go 4 miles in 3/4 of an hour. Okay, so 4 divided by 3/4 is 5.3 repeating, and this is miles per hour. But I know I can run 7 miles an hour, so again, for the third time, I know I have enough. So you have all these pieces of information. We just have to answer this question. So as long as you can make sense of the numbers you're putting in and the number you're getting out and can compare it to the information in here, then you're good to go.